We have Scott come up and share with us.
Sure. That's interesting that you asked me. I was wondering if I should say something. I'm saying something now. Well, I was having this thought. I guess it was maybe yesterday in particular, but they have this phrase that I've heard before about times and the men that are produced by different time periods. Hard times produce, I don't know, strong men. I think that's how the phrase goes. And good times produce weak men. And these kind of ideas, as if there's some kind of special uh, quality to certain generations of human beings. But I thought about this, and I thought about that I don't agree with that statement. And here's what the part I don't agree with is that what I don't agree with is the fact that I think the only difference. I mean, you take my life versus my grandfather's life. Well, he came to the United States when he was 13 years old with his brother and no parents. There were a lot of situations he had to deal with that he couldn't hide from. He just had to deal with it. You either deal with it or you die. I think that what happens when we live through quote unquote good times is we start to believe that we can avoid dealing with the issues of life. I think that's the major difference. We're talking about fear, the fearful. Well, if we believe that we can hide from life, it's going to catch up with us eventually. So the only way that we can actually develop our character doesn't matter what generation you're born into. The one thing that we can all be exhorted to do is face your fears. Don't run from them. Face the problems in your life. Because if you believe there's a back door where you can hide from them, then they will eventually catch up to you. That's a simple reality. If you don't face things in your life, if you don't say, we're going to keep going forward in life, and you try to draw back and find some way to avoid dealing with problems, you can't avoid them. And what's more is it will diminish your character. I mean, a lot of my life has changed just by living in the country, mowing 2 acres of grass, having to make sure that critters and things stay out of my yard, and don't harm us, and other things, making sure that water comes into my house, which is not provided by the city, but provided by a well in the back of my property. These are very different factors in my life that I never dealt with before, but they have, as I've had to address them, just having to address these things has helped me to develop part of my character that was lacking when I didn't address these things. So I don't think we should wait for bad times to figure out who we are. We should always be cultivating a mindset to address things in front of us and don't believe even small foxes and small things in our life that we can just avoid them or put them on the shelf. If we're to overcome, as it talks about in Revelation chapter 2 and 3, then that means that, and it's interesting because all those things that are mentioned about overcoming have nothing to do with war. They have nothing to do with, dramatic battles, but it has everything to do with the spirituality that the people were addressing. What they needed to overcome was those things in their own life that did not represent God and his kingdom. So don't draw back, keep on pressing forward is what I would say.